Hey, welcome to the Freedom Real Estate Podcast with Joel Rubiera.
Rubiera.
You already told me this. I don't know how I.
You'll get it.
Yeah, I'll get it eventually. So, yeah, I'm very excited to have Joel here. He is a killer in real estate. He has done upwards of 200 transactions, 18 years of experience. You own 85 rental units?
I've had 85 rental units. I now own 32, 35.
Still impressive nonetheless. And you primarily invest in Boston and around Boston. Is that correct?
That is correct, yeah.
Yeah, so he's crushing it, and we have a lot to learn from Joel today. So today we're going to break down how he got started in real estate, kind of what got him into it, kind of some of his, childhood dreams on why he really, thought real estate was the path towards financial freedom, and then kind of his future plans. So, Joel, let's go back to when you're a kid. So, what's your childhood like? What got you kind of in the mindset of kind of entrepreneurship?
So, to be honest, as a kid, was those trips to, on my mother's side, her family, like the entrepreneurship runs in the blood with them. They've always had like some type of business. I remember they started with like bodegas in New York.
Okay.
So I'd always lived in Boston, but I would visit them, on weekends or summer break.
Mm-hmm.
So I visit the family there, be at the grocery store in New York. The uncle's giving me like, carte blanche, all the candy I want, all the chips I want, all the sodas I want. I'm like, this is amazing.
Yeah.
Like, 'cause they own the place.
Exactly.
So that was like, that put an idea in my head. I'm like, it'd be nice to own a place too, right? From that, very young age. This was probably like in elementary school, like as a kid coming up.
Okay.
And fast forward, they ended up moving to the Dominican Republic, opened up businesses over there. I also ended up at one point in my life living in Dominican Republic.
Really?
So, yeah, being around them and seeing how, the things they were doing, buying gas stations, motels, stuff like that. I worked with them on a couple of their businesses. So I think there was like seeing them being in control of their time seemed awesome to me, and also having some ownership on your schedule, and not only your schedule but ownership on like so ownership of your time, but also like just feeling like there's like a sense of pride in ownership. You know what I mean? Like you owning something, it's like there's something that comes with that. You're like, shit, I own this. So even just being associated with them, the fact that they owned it and I was like related to them was a source of pride. So I was like, one day that'd be cool if I could do that.
Yeah, I've always come from the perspective of like control. Like this thing doesn't control me, I control it in the form of ownership, right?
Yeah. My dad was, a 9-to-5er all his life. Like he spent, I think it was almost 20 years in a company, and there was some downturn in the economy, and this is probably like in the late 90s. Well, actually, the textile industry, that's where he was, and that shit, all those jobs got shipped to China. But long story short, he got let go. So he never took a chance. He got offered opportunities,
yeah,
like with my mom's brothers to take on those, take some risk and maybe join them on some of those ventures. But he always appreciated him having that secure, fixed source of income in his job. He had it pretty good, and he thought that he was secure. And I think that's a big mistake a lot of people make, is you don't do the entrepreneurship path because you think it's risky, because you want the 9-to-5. But that also can be gone. You can get let go. Companies do go under. So I thought, if that can happen anyways, might as well just go do my own shit.
But I think it's very fair to say, it sounds like you were kind of at a crossroad growing up where you were thinking maybe I should go the 9-to-5 route, maybe I should go entrepreneurship. Because you did go to college eventually, right? You did study business. Was the plan always to just go straight into entrepreneurship, or?
Well, sort of. So here's the thing. So I got into, college was just in my mind, like that's just something you do. You have to go to high school, you go to college. Your parents would tell you that, like, you gotta go to college. You hear that from everybody. So that was just always the plan. I was hoping that, I didn't know what I was going to do in entrepreneurship. I just know that I wanted it. I figured eventually I'd end up there. I would say in part of that, you're saying like ownership and controlling it, that is I guess the 9 to 5 was part of the way at first, and it was like I was seeing that, okay, this also, that's the only way I knew how I can get some capital, like maybe get a job, get a salary, save some money, invest in my first real estate or business, doing it the traditional way. It was years later where I learned about like creative financing and other people's money, but that was like a journey to get there. But before, I thought that was like the only way I could do it. And I remember this is like, when I was in Dominican Republic and working with my uncles, I thought, I'm in a good position here. I could end up like when I'm graduating, working with them in the family business or something, and maybe through them I could somehow carve out my own space. I don't want to get ahead of myself, but that kind of led me coming back to the Dominican Republic because I didn't like the idea of my destiny being in someone else's hand. So I was like, okay, what happens if that doesn't work out? Then what? So I was like, all right, I got to go to the States, get my college degree here, because at least that was like, no matter how low I feel like that was like, at least I had the college degree. I could get some type of job if it didn't work out. And an American, being in the DR, okay, let me say this. When I was in the Dominican Republic, I loved being there. I wanted to be there. But I thought, if I'm going to be here, I can go get an American degree, a college diploma, and come back and be like hot shit, be like top of the market as far as, job prospects go. So I figured, if I go and do that and come back, follow some entrepreneurship path, I still didn't know what that would look like. I'd kind of have this in my back pocket as like a safety net. That's kind of like the idea that I had back then.
Yeah. So, but I think it all comes down to just like autonomy, right? Like I think we all want autonomy, and that's why I think you and I both went after financial freedom, is because like we want to kind of control over our life and our time. So let's go back to like when you were in college. Is that when you kind of got into real estate, and what was your first deal?
So I got into real estate, yes, when I was in college. I actually became a real estate agent.
Oh, really? Right in college? That's smart.
Yeah. Well, I didn't know anything about the industry. I wanted to be in real estate.
Yeah.
And I figured that probably a way in, right, to start peeking behind the curtain. I was lucky in a way that I had someone close to me that they were running a brokerage, and they had also given me like, hey, you thought about getting your license? I'm like, actually, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
So I kind of went that path.
So how long did it take you to start like investing in your own deals?
So this is like where the house hacking stuff comes in. Before it was like called house hacking. So I had become a real estate agent when this was like in 2007, right before the crash. And I was doing that for a couple of years quite successfully. Like the first year I was like kind of like I could probably making a little bit of money. I started representing buyers, I think, fairly quickly. I started with rentals, then with buyers. Fast forward, I was graduating college in 2009, and I found out through now being in the real estate as an agent, through other networking with other bankers, lawyers, or whatever. Obama at the time had come out with this rule that, I don't know what was Obama, but there was this rule that if you graduated college and you were working in a field that was related to your diploma, they would count your offer letter as 2 years worth of taxes.
Okay.
Now, as a real estate agent or an entrepreneur, you have a lot of expenses. So usually you're not gonna, if you're trying to go for a traditional loan, it's gonna be very hard for the first couple of years.
Yeah.
So I said, all right, I'll graduate from college. I was doing finance and economics, and I'll go get a job in some bank or something like that, and I'd have my offer letter. So that's what I did. So
wow.
It was like maybe, what was it? It was 2010, 2011. So 3-4 years into it, like actually not even, maybe 3 years into it, I bought my first house. Wow. And it was using that house hack methodology. Like I graduated, I got a job. I mean, it's kind of like a long con, right? It was, yeah. I got the offer letter. I immediately went looking for a 3-family, so I can like live in one. Do the 3.5% down.
FHA.
Yeah, FHA.
Okay.
And my thought was I was just gonna do that every couple of years and just move. You know what I mean? So I actually did that like 2-3 times.
Did you still that job?
When I now? What?
Oh, you still that job when you house hacked? After you got that first property, did you just say, see you later?
I realized that I didn't have, no, not exactly. So I realized that I needed the income eventually to get more property.
Oh, so you kept the job.
I kept the job, because I was like, all right, it's not.
I like how you thought you pulled the fast one, but
know.
they sucked you in.
Yeah,
right?
basically. Well, I wasn't, with one property, you're not making enough income to qualify.
I can relate. I can relate.
I was like, shit, I guess I got to do this for a few more years.
Yeah.
So I was doing banking for that a little bit, and then I was kind of sick of it. Someone had told me about a sales job that opened up, and I ended up doing that for a few years as well, but always doing real estate in the background.
Yeah, and I think our audience can kind of take away from that is like, W-2 is not a prison. It's like a tool, right? Like I've used my W-2 myself to house hack 4 properties. I wouldn't have been able to do it without my W-2.
Yeah, I got to like 3 properties before I then started fixing and
Right.
flipping, learning about creative financing, other people's money, and then,
So, like, I mean, your W-2 is definitely a tool, and if you view it as a tool versus view it as a prison, it's a lot more enjoyable experience. I'll tell you that right now.
100%. But I don't think. Actually, going into it, that was the idea. It felt like it was going to be forever before I could leave, and then you start getting offered raises and management positions, and if you're not careful, they'll reel you in real quick.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, those benefits, right? Those benefits and consistent paycheck. It's like
You get
the way
comfy.
I describe it. It's like the boiling frog, right?
Yeah.
Like the
That's a
water's
good way.
boiling around you. Like you don't realize you've been in this since the beginning.
Yeah, for sure. And he's like, "What? I'm gonna leave this and go like just am I crazy?"
I know.
I guess
So I mean, so it sounds like you did a house hack. You got a 3-unit, and like the house hack's great. I mean, it's conceptually, but like, tell us like what did the financial outlook look like on that property? Like, what were the numbers like?
I just wanted it to be like at least break even, like that I didn't have to pay rent,
Sure, but yeah, I mean, so you live for free.
basically. So I was just like trying to live for free.
Okay, so you bought a property.
Yeah.
What was your first property? How much did you buy it for? What were the rents?
Jesus Christ, you're gonna make. I don't even remember this. This was way back, but it was probably around high 2s in Chelsea.
High 200s.
Yeah, I was like, I should have kept that shit.
And then just for context, Chelsea's pretty close to Boston, and properties sell in the millions now.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. Another lesson you learn in real estate.
There's a 3-unit.
As a 3.
As a 3-unit, so you bought 3 for 200. You rented 2 units for.
Whatever. At the time, it was like $1,000
Each?
$1,200. Yeah.
And how much was your mortgage on 200K?
I think it was about. I don't even know. It's probably like high 1s. I was actually cash flowing still.
You were cash flowing while living in the 3rd unit.
Correct. So a couple $100 cash flowing, and then
Living for free. Yeah, and then saving, and then not paying rent,
Correct.
and saving probably 80% of your W-2 job income.
Yeah, correct. Yeah. So then I was planning on the next investment.
Yeah.
Saving that. And it was always that, like, how do I get to the next one? Because I wanted to accumulate enough so that I can then leave the W-2 job and then finance future projects without having to work. But then, that was the idea. So.
Yeah. So as you can see, like house hack is just a cheat code to just like leveling up.
And you learn a lot. I mean, I think at the time it was where I was at, and it was what I needed at the time. It kind of like got me familiar with real estate. I got to put my hands on it.
Yeah.
So I think that takes away a lot of the fears that you have when you've never done it before. So you kind of get it out of your system.
So with over 200 transactions, over like 20 years, like what's some like key lessons you learned to sustain that growth over time?
I think networking is a big one. Building relationships, I think is key. I mean, I was there was a couple years where I was really head down and just really into the work. I was doing a lot of fixing and flipping and development, and I was just way too busy to get out and network. But I've made an effort this year to kind of get back out there and shake some hands, kiss some babies.
Yeah.
And no, I've met some great people, and I've made some good connections, you included, and it's amazing every time I don't. Sometimes when you're going to go to a networking event, and for me anyways, it's like sometimes a few hours before I'm like, I don't want to go to this thing, and then there's never been one time where I've gone and I regretted it. I've always gone and I'm like, I'm so happy I came. I met this person, or I learned this thing or that thing, and it's just putting yourself out there.
I think the longer you're in this game, the more you realize that networking is so important, right? Because like, a problem, like a $500,000 problem 2 years ago could cause me 2 weeks of pain, right? Mm-hmm. Now with the right network, with the right team, a $500,000 problem could be resolved in a call.
Yeah, it could be that easy.
Right? So, like, I don't think people realize the power of networking, the power of, like, meeting people at these meetups, because somebody you meet up at those meetups could be that one call to solve most of your problems.
100%. And I have to remind myself of that sometimes, because sometimes you find yourself, like, in a situation, And you got to take a step back, take a breath, and then you think like, oh no, I got several solutions for this problem. You know what I mean? We call so and so, or I can try this, try that.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean that's one of the main concepts in like Rich Dad Poor Dad that really like pulled me in. It was like, when something comes across your desk, you just have to ask yourself, how can I solve this, right? There's always an answer to a problem. There's always a solution. And I think when people just shut down the ability to even come up with a solution, it reduces their ability to harness the problem.
I want to kind of double down on what you just said there, like focusing on the solution. I think looking back, that was always something that I was trying to do, like glass half full. What can I do? Like, yes, this is a problem, but how am I going to get out of it?
Exactly.
And that mindset is a big difference maker.
What can I do? What action can I take to move this forward?
Or who can help me? That's another one.
Which is once you level up, you realize it's not how, it's who.
Correct. Yeah.
Right. That's when you level up. That's what you realize. So I think the key to be successful, Joel, is like modeling behavior. So let me ask you this: like, you've been in full-time real estate for 20 years at this point. Like, what's your day-to-day look like? What are some key performance indicators or KPIs you do every day to push your full-time real estate business forward?
So it's changed. Last year's been a little different because I wanted to refocus on like systems and networking and trying to automate some processes. So I've like onboarded some VAs and been working with them, and I've gone through a few bookkeepers. I think a lot of people go through that. Yep. You know what I mean? I'm actually onboarding a new one now, which I'm very excited about. But the day-to-day has been, for this year, has been trying to like get them up and running, which I think we're at a point now where there's a lot of the things that I used to do that would suck up my time, like emails, whatever, scheduling calendar, any little thing, tracking a bill down, paying a bill. Yep. A lot of those things are now out of my day-to-day. Sure. So now I'm refocusing on, looking for deals, coming out here and network. And also I've been doing a lot of like, taking like a self mental check, an inventory of the things I've done in the past. Cause I've done like quite a wide range of things. Like what did I like the most? What didn't I like? And try to, what gave me the most energy, and try to kind of, pursue those type of activities, which is going forward. It's, networking and finding people to collaborate with. And thinking more of like the team mentality and the who, not how, and collaborate, to taking down, bigger deals, but also more deals. Maybe you're making the same money, or less money, whatever. But if you can do that, chances are you're going to make more money. But I'm saying even if it was just like an even trade-off, you're getting more time back. And for me, that's something that I've been valuing a lot, is like a balance, and trying to be mindful of projects that I go into and focus on, like, how can I build the business around the life that I want to live, and not the other way around, which for a lot of years, that's how I was doing. I was just like burning the candle at both ends.
So I think some really important things you mentioned there is, like, as you scale and as you level up, I think it's really important to get down to the game of business, right? And really focus on building your systems, hiring your team, and managing that team so the day-to-day monotony gets taken away. You can really sit in your genius. Your genius is finding deals. Your genius is networking. Your genius is partnerships. Your genius is structuring opportunities, and that's what brings you joy, right? And that's what your day-to-day looks like right now. And lo and behold, you have 30 units, you've done 200 transactions, and you're pretty successful, right? So I think that's a really great lesson learned on how other people, can eventually, become a full-time investor and really sit in their genius.
100%. And I think that, when you first start off, you're wearing all the hats, and that can be very frustrating, but you got to push through that. But now with technology and again with networking, you can probably skip that a little sooner. Although there's some value into wearing all the hats, so you can kind of know, what you like, what you don't like. So
let's give people specifics, right? Yeah. So like, what systems do you use right now in your business?
I started implementing a CRM tool, so Go High Level.
Go High Level, okay.
I started...
and that manages a lot of your relationships, maybe direct-to-seller marketing or relationship with brokers.
Right. I even started using it for tenant interaction.
Investors, potentially.
Correct, yeah.
Okay, and then what other systems are you incorporating in your business?
I started using PropStream, which is been around for a long time, but I've started using it, and I'm trying to implement it in a way where I'm bringing on VAs to help me.
Sure. And for our viewers, PropStream, is essentially data to target direct to sellers.
Correct.
Right? So you can do direct mail, you can do cold calling.
Correct.
Like, what other sort of systems are you utilizing in your what like you have 30 units? How do you manage these? Like what do you?
Door Loop. Shout out to Door Loop.
Door Loop,
yeah,
okay.
It's a property management software. I know
Sure.
a lot of people use other ones like AppFolio. I've heard is great. Maybe I'll be looking into that next if to add more units. But Door Loop has been very good. It's been very user friendly.
Sure.
And I started using that last year actually, and it's been a game changer.
And you're using VAs. Are you hiring headhunters? Or are you just hiring them yourselves?
So I was for years I've been wanting to hire a VA, and I never pulled the trigger because I'm like, where do I begin? What am I going to show them? I'm not organized. How am I going to organize this person?
Yeah, totally.
So I found the headhunter. I forgot who recommended them to me, but it was like slam dunk. You had to pay them a fee up front.
Sure.
They interviewed a bunch of people based on what you wanted, and then they would, hey, these are the top 3. You can check them out, and then if you thought it was a good fit, you can work with them for a couple months. If not, they'd help you find another person. So I kind of got lucky. In the first couple rounds, first 2 rounds, I found this girl that now she's been working with me for over a year now, and she actually helped me find the second person because someone she knew. So I brought in the first one through a headhunter. The second one was through the first person, who was like an A player.
Yeah, and I think there's an important lesson there is the fact that you don't have to build everything yourself, right? Like when you're first starting a business, sometimes it makes sense to hire a headhunter to hire a virtual assistant and pay a little delta than to try to do the whole job application yourself, go on online jobs, interview them. Like you suddenly now to be an HR expert.
I know.
All of a sudden, right? Like it's not so. Like I highly recommend VAs are a powerful tool, but like if you're starting, just hire a headhunting company, pay $2-3 above per hour, and have them manage the process, have them manage the person, and then they can just give you the work quality, right? And a little bonus tip is what I do to get really good hires is I typically give them a test project of that specific specialty, and depending on that result, that highly correlates to whether I hire them or not.
That's smart, because then a lot of times anyone can bullshit in an interview or say the right things, but show me basically.
Exactly. Like I had a really great hire, one of my finance directors, right? Like he was in Colombia, like he had some short-term rental experience, like he didn't really fit the mold, right? But I give him a test project, like give him a shot, have him do a loan request package that I send the banks to get a loan, right? He gave me the most beautiful product, hired him in the spot, and he was an all-star hire. So you'd be surprised like what sort of diamonds in the rough you will get from those test projects. So, just going back to your childhood, growing up partly in the Dominican Republic, right? Being bilingual, like how has that shaped your approach to real estate?
So to be honest, how has it shaped my approach? It's made me want to pursue, focus more on cash flow long term, because I really do enjoy being there, and I do enjoy traveling. So I'm like, how can I put myself in a situation where I can travel and do a lot of these things remote that you might not be able to do if you're on a job site, for 24/7.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. So that's I would say that is also from the DR culture. It's a very business oriented entrepreneurship mentality. Sure. So that also fostered kind of that in me to then go out and do it on my own. And being bilingual obviously is very helpful because opens up the market and you can relate to maybe a broader group of people. Also, born here, but my parents were immigrants, so it also opens you up to another group of people as far as like just being able to relate on people's situations. And
I'm sure it also helped you with getting good contractors.
Yeah, right? Yeah, I have buddies that exactly don't speak Spanish, and they're like, "What's he saying?" Yeah, exactly, for sure. A lot of great Spanish speaking contractors out there. Shout outs to them.
Yeah. It's funny, because I'm a big traveler myself, and what I realized in different parts of the earth, like the day moves slower, right? Like if I go to like Italy, everybody just goes like 5 times slower. Like it's just a different pace of life, and the vibe is more chill, right? And then literally, right when I step on U.S. soil, anxiety comes over me. What do I have? What can I do now to be productive? Like literally, I don't know. It's just the vibe. So I just find that very, very funny.
That is very funny. It actually takes me a couple of days. I'm sure you find the same when you get somewhere else to kind of like unwind and de-stress because it's like you're so on this programming here. And then I've walked out of movie theaters here. Like you had some extra time.
Really?
It's like and maybe a little less now, but I'd be like, what am I doing here? I gotta go be productive. This is like the mentality here in the States. It's like, I was like, the anxiety is just like, what am I doing? I gotta go, make some deals happen,
I know. It's funny. the U.S. grind is a real thing. It's a vibe.
Yeah.
It's a vibe. So, it sounds like you're kind of taking a shift recently from doing kind of what new construction, flips, some multifamily. Now you're trying to get into sober homes. Tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah. So going back to the, trying to get like the biggest bang for my buck, the biggest ROI. Like I'm trying to harness all the experiences that I've had in the past. Like what could I like channel this towards where it's going to have
Sure.
like the biggest impact? And for me, because I'm so interested in the cash flow, these topics keep coming up. To be honest, it's like when something just keeps popping up around you, you're like, I gotta look into this thing. I've heard it before, but every corner I turn, I feel like someone's. And these are people close to me that or whatever that attorneys, friends, or whatever that bring up sober housing, and what I've done is I've been doing research into those communities, reaching out to people that are operating sober houses that are in the space, that are recovering themselves, and trying to figure out is the need real? Of course it is. Is there improvements to be made on how it's currently done? And I think that there are always improvements to be made. And a mind shift that I've kind of enjoyed this process of kind of coming full circle is like, again, the who, not how. I'm now looking more at like operators that could help me with that exit strategy. So someone who's maybe already done it before, someone who's been in the space for a while, who has the channels, the connections. Like, how can I partner up with that person that has no knowledge about the real estate side, and I can facilitate that for them, and then they can help me run a successful operation. And I'm thinking the same about even like what I was doing before, which is the fixing and flipping and the development. I'm not like completely shying away from it, but I would much rather like find a contractor or someone who wants to partner JV on that, and maybe leverage my mind more than my body at this point as far as those transactions go, so that I can be fully present on those cash flowing opportunities, which I think are sober houses. And also I've been looking at senior living, and I know the shiny object syndrome is a real thing. I know it. I embrace it. I'm like, it is what it is. But what I'm doing is I'm seeking out information and trying to reach people in all these industries, so that then I can make like an informed opinion on what's going to be the way forward and like the main focus.
So I think there's like there's a couple things to break down there. So first of all, sober home's kind of like a halfway home, right? Like more or less like a place that they put people who are recovering from like drug addiction for a certain period of time, and they pay you a daily fee. Is that how it works?
So there's different like levels to it. I've been learning a lot. It's been in education, honestly. I went to like get the mass certification recently. I met a whole bunch of great people that have been doing it for a while. And it's not all just rainbows and butterflies. It never is. There's a lot of challenges there. So hearing the challenges that they have is cool, and also learning how it goes. So in Mass, for example, there's grants out there that'll pay you like $880 per person per bed for someone to occupy one of your houses, and they're usually getting this through some grant.
For how many? For how long?
Those, I believe, they go. I'm
880 for what, a week?
No, it goes for like I think don't quote me on this because this is
like per month.
It's like no, per month. I'm sorry, $880 per month.
Okay.
And they usually will get this for, I think it's 3 to 6 months depending. Okay. And in that time, a lot of these people already have like maybe jobs lined up, or you're helping them line up jobs.
And you get fit like 3 or 4 beds in a room.
And that's the idea. So they have specifications that you got to follow. Yeah. So it's like specifics for every square foot you can fit a bed. Not literally every square foot, but like, for example, in Mass, the first 70 square feet is one bed. Every 50 square feet after that is another bed.
Okay.
And then you need like for every 10 people, like a fridge, a bathroom.
Yeah.
So there's little things you got to follow. There's a heavy push for sprinklers, which is a huge cost, which is killing a lot of sober home operators.
Sure.
It's technically not required because it's like a ADA class, protected. But the fire departments are coming on the side of like, just for safety reasons. There that many people in a home, they want a sprinkler. So that's kind of hurting.
And it needs on-site management too, right?
It needs on-site management. My understanding of how that works is, you usually have someone who is recovering themselves and have already been maybe at least 6 to year months or more sober, and you would make them like the house manager, and usually there's some give back as far as maybe like a discount on the rent or free rent, and then you have I've heard of other people that'll also implement like a 2-tier strategy where they'll have the house manager and then even an assistant house manager. so that they can kind of counterbalance.
Well,
each
yeah,
other.
and it also probably requires like video cameras, I would assume.
So I did it,
certain like certain locks, I would think.
yeah. So those are a lot of things that I've been looking into for my own multifamily rentals. And now using like the software and cameras and smart locks, I'm like, I'd like to bring that into the solar space. How can I automate this? Maybe make an app so that you can check in, pay, or they can see resources. Like, how could we kind of streamline this process a bit?
Or why do you even need a Silver Home manager? You can just get a Tesla robot, right?
Like, eventually,
there's so many angles you can attack it from, right?
In the future, yeah, that could be it.
But I think, and you also brought up another point where you're at that stage in your investing career where when you're investing, it all comes down to time, experience, and money. It's like, what do you want to bring to the table? And you already put the grind in. You already put the time and you put a lot of your money in, and now you have the experience, and you're really trying to leverage that experience with other partners who really have the time and potentially the money, to do other projects, right? So, as you level up in investing, you move across different scales, and it's kind of good to just understand that dynamic. So let me ask you this now for kind of our newer investors, for someone who has a few rentals right now and is looking to scale in multifamily development, like, what's a first good step for them?
To scale in multifamily development, I would say, you said something that really stuck out to me recently when we were together, and it was, I'm paraphrasing here, but something along the lines of like, once you start leveraging people and not properties, you'll go far. And I was like, a lot of times you get information, but there comes a time where you like internalize that information. Mm-hmm. And that was like an easy thing that kind of just connected the dots for me. And I'm like, shit, of course, right? And I would say it's that. I would just say reach out, go network, reach out to people that are already doing it, whether at your level or higher level than you, and try to glean some guidance from them, or see if you could be of value to them. Maybe there's some future potential for collaboration. In real estate, one of the cool things about real estate that I've always enjoyed is that people are super open and happy to share information.
Yep.
Like, it's shocking how like they'll just talk to you and tell you everything, because for them, they're passionate about it. It's fun, and they weren't born with that knowledge. Someone else told them. Yep. So people love to share. So I would say my first advice would be go out there, network, find someone who's doing it, and talk to them about how they're doing it, and maybe how you can implement some of those strategies.
I love how you brought it back full circle.
Yeah.
Back to modeling. Modeling successful people.
Yeah.
Lo and behold, I have hundreds of doors 3-4 years later, right? Like,
shocking.
Yeah, shocking, right? Like, I just copied and pasted and I got the same result. Who would have knew?
Yeah.
Right? So, real estate's great, right? Real estate obviously has a lot of upsides, but there are some downsides. So let me ask you this. What's one mistake you see newer investors make in real estate that you would kind of recommend that they avoid?
I'd say biting off more than they can chew. I mean, it's a balance to that, right? Because sometimes that's how you move forward. What's the saying? Fail forward or succeed failing forward. Is that falling? I don't know.
Failing forward?
Yeah, I think that's.
Yeah, I think it's failing forward.
Yeah, so that's how you learn a lot of times, but you could get in a situation where you get into real trouble. So I would just say be cautious, be conservative with your numbers, and if you're not sure, maybe it's good to. As entrepreneurs, we're in our head all the time, speaking from experience. So sometimes if you have an idea, you think it's going to work, maybe running it by someone else, getting a second opinion, a third opinion, just to make sure, hey, do these numbers make sense or am I crazy? And I think that would save a lot of people some headaches. And also, when you're doing projects, budget and time is just something that you always go over budget, you always go over time. So you want to make sure that you are accounting for that.
Leverage experts and build in contingencies.
Yes.
I 100% agree.
I don't have to ask ChatGPT anymore. I'll ask you. I'll rant to ChatGPT. Like, how do I say this in an easy way, simplistic way? And you just spit it out.
That's my specialty, man. I'm very blunt guy. So let me ask you this. Looking back at your career, what's kind of one of the hardest lessons you learned?
I think the hardest lesson that I've learned in real estate was, when you're out there trying to leverage people and find the right person to fill that role, sometimes we have in our minds this idea of what a person could do for you, can be for you. but maybe that person has a different idea in mind. So trying to force like what do you say, a square peg into a round hole?
Yeah.
That has got me in trouble before, where you're like, you think this person can do this, that, or the other,
Sure.
and maybe they could to an extent, but maybe not the way you thought. So that's where it comes into like finding others that are experts in that area, but also people that are excited for that.
Sure.
To do whatever it is going to be, bookkeeping, VA, they have to be excited about that. And your visions have to align so that, you can avoid some miscommunication. And also, again, you thought they were up to the task, maybe they weren't, or not to you maybe had different understanding of what that meant, what success meant or what winning meant.
Yeah, I mean, I can totally agree with you where, like, when I first started building a business, like, I had expectations of my employees of what they could do and what they couldn't do. And, more or less, I didn't really allow them to kind of grow into their potential. I just assumed they were there day one.
Yeah, 100%.
Right? And, like, what I've realized over time is when you put the effort in, you put the work in, and they get to that potential, it's a magical thing. But it definitely doesn't happen instantaneously. It's easily going to take you 3 to 6 months of putting time and effort into that person to kind of get that result you're looking for.
Yeah, and that's why you want, because it takes time, you want to make sure that they're into it too. So checking in, is this what you want to do? Does this make you excited, or are you just doing it to do it? Because that's when you're excited about it, that's what's going to carry you through.
It's
like when shit's not going right.
Yeah.
All right, let me flip the script. Now I got a couple questions for you. This is the podcast takeover with Joel Rubiera interviewing my man Andrew Freed over here.
Oh,
yeah, we're gonna see what see what's going on with him. You ready?
I'm sweating right now.
So you've talking to you. I've only talked to you a couple times, but it's clear that you have been on an incredible journey, right? And leveraging people has become a strength of yours. But I want to kind of take it back to before that was a strength of yours. So when you got started, did you get started solo? Was it with a partner?
Oh, I was a solopreneur. Yeah. I did not trust anybody. I thought I could do everything better than anybody else, and that's how I operated.
Samesies.
Yeah.
But okay, so when did that transition happen? Like, what in your life changed? Who did you meet? What did you hear that was like, all right, I got to change how I'm doing things now?
I think it comes to the point where you can just only do so much, right? Like
That's a good way to put it. Where you want to put that energy in, right? Like, what gives you energy? What takes away energy?
Exactly. Yeah. And a great book for that is Buy Back Your Time. You ever read that book?
Like Game Changer.
Yeah, and that talks about that concept where you got to figure out like what gives you energy, what takes energy away from you, and the stuff that takes energy away from you got to delegate or eliminate. I think is what he said. Delegate or eliminate.
He said you can delegate that.
Yeah, delegate or eliminate.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, if it's not, exactly. You got to make sure that it's worth even pursuing.
Exactly.
If it's not, you eliminate it. If it is, but it's not bringing in the ROI, then you don't like it.
And it's funny. I actually just saw Dan Mattel at a Tony Robbins event. The guy's all into AI right now, and the guy's a freaking genius. Right?
Yeah, I watch a lot of his YouTube videos. He's a very smart guy. I love hearing his opinions on things and what he has to say. So yeah, kudos to that. That was a good book. I read it last year actually, and it was amazing. And it kind of led me on a path to getting back into book reading, which I hadn't been doing in a while.
Yeah.
So that was a question. And then, what was your first hire?
My first hire was a social media specialist. Because social media took so much freaking energy away from me, and it took my attention, right? Like, I don't even have social media on my phone anymore. I only access it from my computer because it will suck 2, 3, 4 hours of your time if you don't protect it.
And then when you were doing, all right, so you tell me all the things that you were doing. So
Sure.
What did you decide you wanted to focus on next when you hired the social media? What was
Sure.
that going to be for more listings, to try to get off-market deals?
Sure.
So tell me more about that.
So my whole concept when I was growing my entire investing organization was I wanted to create a resource center. Like, I wanted to have my own team that I had my bookkeeper, I had my social media specialist, I had my executive assistant. I wanted to have my entire team in place, so when people partnered with me, a large administrative burden was taken off of their plate, right? And initially, I funded a lot of those costs directly out of my agent income. Like all of my agent income went towards reinvesting into this mini business structure. That was the purpose of it, was to buy back my time, but it eventually turned into providing value to others investors and them wanting to partner with me because I brought these sort of tools to the table.
That's smart. That's smart, because I don't think a lot of people are working on some of those things, like the systems, the people, setting it up the right way. So it's impressive that you took the time to do that. I started late, but it's never late. Late's better than never.
Yeah.
So that's where we're at now. We're working on that.
No, but just going back to that point, I think buying back your time is so important, because financial freedom is great, but also business will eat up your time and eat up your life if you don't protect it, right?
That is true, and it can get out of control real quick. And if you don't have anybody to help you when that starts to happen, then it'll just spiral.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So you need these systems, you need these peoples, you need these processes, or your life is just gonna go off the rail.
And a lot of times, it's, there's two ROIs based on that. Buy back your book, right, from Dan Martell. So there's the money ROI, and there's the energy ROI.
Exactly.
So if it's like sucking energy from you on something you don't want to do, then how are you going to be for that actual, when the deal comes in that you're actually excited about? You might not be as excited. You might not have the time. You're over here like organizing an email when you should have been analyzing this deal that just came through. So that's a big challenge that, glad to see you got over that quick.
Yeah. I mean, hey, if we own our business, if I'm working for somebody too, I want to be excited for Monday. I don't want to dread Monday,
That's true. So now, speaking of Mondays, how is the great Andrew Freed? How is your day-to-day look like? Your work schedule, your personal schedule? How's that balanced these days?
A lot of my day encompasses, probably about 25% of it encompasses some sort of project management meeting associated with managing my staff, managing my projects, coming up with new processes, right? And then another component involves, in shepherding my deals from, acquisition or disposition. I handle all the acquisition and disposition front. Raising money from investors, talking with banks, getting term sheets, resolving problems get escalated to my level. But at the end of the day, I'm really not focusing on the day-to-day minutia. I'm focusing on what I can do to grow my business today, right?
So follow up to that, is everything now internal that you've built, or did you also make like a hybrid where you're actually partnering with other businesses as well? Or I think you have a partner now, or a couple partners now.
Yeah, so
how's that blend?
Yeah, so I have a 50-50 partner, Zach Gray, and then we own Freedom Management, with a property management firm that self-manages the majority of all of our units. We manage about 300 doors, and we have 20 employees that work under Freedom Management, and we utilize Freedom Management to stabilize a lot of our investments, right? So Freedom Management kind of self-runs. It manages my doors. I kind of just oversee it from a high level. And I'm really focusing my time on the investing side, on purchasing the properties, on underwriting the properties, on walking the properties, on getting them financed, on raising the capital, right? As well as taking a portfolio manager view of our assets to ensure everything's moving along with the business plan. If anything isn't, apply focus or attention to it to get it back on track. That's
awesome, man. That's awesome. Cheers to you. Cheers to you. That sounds awesome. It's hard to do, I know, because I've tried it. I've done it. I'm on that path, but to get that going, it's awesome. And for the property management side, that's a bane of a lot of people's existence. I've hired third-party property managers. I started self-managing myself again through those softwares.
Yeah.
And if I add more properties, I probably will be looking for someone to be more hands-on, boots on the ground. What are you? I do that now with like a hybrid of handyman, local handyman. How are you doing now? Or who was your first hire on the property management side? I mean, now it's a different story because you guys are like off to the races.
Sure.
Who was your hire on the property management side?
So one of our first hires was a property manager, Jake. And Jake did a lot of the maintenance for the tenants, did a lot of the work orders, ensure all of their problems were resolved. And then we eventually hired a operations manager to help build our systems, to help build AppFolio, to help build all of the processes so we could manage these units at a large scale. So those were definitely some of our first key hires that really helped us grow our org.
That's awesome. So for me, looking at a guy like yourself, there's a couple other buddies of mine that I have in mind as well that have now been able to successfully build out those systems. Those are the type of, like you said, the value that you bring to the table, where like someone like myself's looking around and I see a deal that looks good, I might say I'm going to bring this to Andrew because he already has it ready to go, the system. You know what I mean? Like especially someone like myself that's looking to do more collaboration, do more partnerships. What are, I guess, I don't know if that was a great transition, sure. But this next question was really more about like, what are some things that people listening out there, myself included, could do for you, or what are some things that could add value to you right now, as given where you're at and what your focuses are, whether that's bringing deals, looking for money, like what type of stuff I'm sure that's always the two things, right? Deals and money.
I think you alluded to it earlier. It's like, at a certain point, it's not about leveraging properties, it's about leveraging people, right? And what I really need right now is I really need hot all-star talent. I need talent that can bring me to the next level. Mm-hmm. My team's great, right? But, there's certain talent that 1 + 1 = 100, right? And I need somebody like that on the acquisition front, and I need somebody like that on the finance front.
Okay, solid. Finance and acquisitions. Got it. Anybody listening out there, hit up Andrew if you can help him with those two things.
Yep. Oh, and I just want to give you a quick little tip on how to do a great property management company. One strategy I utilize, I actually do customer satisfaction surveys for my tenants, right? So I send out monthly satisfaction surveys, scale of 1 to 10, how they're satisfied with our service, as well as like any an open response for anything we can make that makes their experience better, right? And the reason for that is because ultimately I want to create raving customers. There could be raving customers from my investors. There could be raving customers from my tenants. There could be raving customers from my vendor, right? But ultimately, if I have raving customers from my business will grow exponentially, right? So I think that's kind of one innovative strategy that I know a lot of property management companies probably don't do, but I think it's an important step to really kind of make your business like a Class A business.
I think you're right. I think a lot of people don't want to open that can of worms, start asking tenants, but I think being proactive about it is pretty genius. You're like, let's just get ahead of this. At the end of the day, you want to keep the tenants in place. I mean, exactly. Raising rents is great, but also, having to do a turnover on a unit or fill a vacancy.
Yeah,
that's
and costly. I mean, just for example, I did the survey result and I got like 3 responses from a building, like saying, hey, there's trash everywhere. What's going on? Like, and we got a low score. So we reached out to the landscaper. We come to realize that the guy haven't invoiced us for 6 weeks, and because he hasn't got paid, he didn't clean our property. It's like, so I mean, ultimately, like, I love it when people tell me, problems or when things go wrong, because I can make their experience better.
100%. Yeah. I love that. I love what you said there. Hopefully a lot of people implement that. I know I will. That's a really good one. On a personal note, you said a lot of traveling. What are some of the best places you've been to that you love? I mean, I'm sure there's many, but like, what is stuff that when you say traveling pops in your head that you want to go back to?
A couple spots. The Pacific Coast Highway in California, that drive was extraordinary. I loved it, right? The Amalfi Coast in Italy, very similar to Pacific Coast, except Italian's version. It's like, villages on the side of cliffs. It's very, very gorgeous. $100 million yachts, amazing food, incredible. One of my third favorite spots is Ha Long Bay, Vietnam, one of the 7 natural wonders of the world. It was a scene from Mission Impossible when I think Tom Cruise comes flying in on the plane, goes in the beaches. It's gorgeous.
That sounds dope. I'll check it out myself.
Yeah.
Add it to the bucket list.
Yeah.
That's awesome, man. That's why. And I'm guessing, maybe you already answered it, but why are you doing real estate? Why are you doing this? Like, what is your why? And then furthermore, what are your goals? Like, what are you trying to follow?
I want to help 10,000 people reach financial independence, be it helping them, investors, just helping them with their own journey. I mean, ultimately, I wouldn't be here if people didn't help me along my journey. When you reach financial independence, ultimately you want to give back, you want to feel productive. You don't want to just sit on the couch and just deteriorate. I mean, that's, I want to provide value to the world. And I mean, that's where I'm at right now, is I just want to provide value and help others kind of on the same path that, I'm on.
That's awesome, man. Beautiful.
All right, we just did a little switcheroni back to Andrew on the Freedom Real Estate Podcast. now we're going to do the final segment, which is the rapid round, right? We're going to ask you 5 quick questions. We're not going to give you any second to think. You're just going to have to go. Instincts, right? All right, quickly. What's one book that had the biggest impact on you as an investor?
Man, that's I'm gonna say Rich Dad Poor Dad. That's like, from a young age, that was one that you read and you just like, it just starts to click.
Yeah, you clearly went with the Coke, like Coke and Pepsi. That's everybody chooses that, but it's great. It's a classic.
The one
it's
that's
a classic.
more recently, I'll answer it twice for you.
Okay.
More recently was really that Buy Back Your Time. Shout out my buddy Mike for telling me about that book. That really was a game changer on how I was perceiving.
Yeah, no, that's definitely one of my favorite books. Next question: what's the best piece of advice you've ever received?
Shit. All right, you said it was quick. The one that keeps bouncing around in my head, I'm gonna give credits to you. It's the leveraging people and not property.
Oh, I got what?
Yeah, I was like, you said that. I was like, shit. When something just hits, I was like, that was good. That was a bar.
All right. Next question: favorite tool, app, or resource you can't live without in your business today?
I'd say it's between the property management software or Google, because we do Google Chats, and that's where my team is always going back and forth on everything. I'd probably say Google Chat or Door Loop.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I guess I got to pick, right? I'll say Door Loop right now because the property management software was.
Oh man. Yeah.
It would suck if you lost that.
Oh, I can figure out how if I collected right on 400 units in minutes.
Yeah, it's beautiful. And
it's incredible.
All your fees, all this, that.
Yep.
It's beautiful.
It's so beautiful. All right, next question. Biggest failure or deal that didn't go as planned, and what did it teach you?
It goes back to finding the right people for the right project or the right task. Sometimes just because someone can do this project doesn't mean that they can do that project. And I know that's very general, but that's just, that can apply to many things. So just making sure that you're finding the right people that are going to not learn it, the right people that already have been there, done that, and can add something to that. You know what I mean? Like to whatever that project is. Yeah,
totally. So, I mean, that just reminds me of Ray Dalio's book, Principles. He talks about, every system is made up of the design and the people, right? So you got to have the right person, but you also got to have the right design.
You could have a person that absolutely crushes it on this project and then just burns on this one. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So just keeping that mindful. And again, hope is not a strategy, so sometimes you're just hoping that stuff is going to work itself out, and that's not always the case.
Last question. If you could give one piece of advice to your younger self, what would it be?
I would say lean into the discomfort. Is that what you're referring to?
Yeah.
Are you referring to repeat what I said
before? No, lean into discomfort. Okay. I like that one.
I would say lean into the discomfort. It's put me in so many great rooms with so many great people, and it's invaluable. Like today, I didn't want to come. I was like, I guess I'm going. I signed up. I told them I got to be there, right? But not because I didn't want to see Andrew. It's just like I didn't want to be in front of the camera, or But you're just like, whatever. I'm doing it. I don't care. Talking to the inner voice inside your head. So leaning into that discomfort, going out to those networking events, taking up opportunities to speak at things like this. It'll open many doors, and you'll learn a lot, and you'll have fun too. I had a lot of fun today.
Yeah, the analogy I'll give you is like a cold plunge. Like nobody wants to do a freaking cold plunge.
100%.
You just gotta turn that switch off in your head and just freaking jump in there, man. Like that's life.
And it feels great after.
Yeah,
this is good.
Yeah, that's an analogy for life. You just gotta lean in the discomfort and just do it, and you're gonna feel amazing afterwards. I guarantee. It's gonna be painful initially, but afterwards you're gonna be proud you did it. Right. So, we learned a ton from Joel today on the Freedom Real Estate Podcast. We learned how he got started, how he used House Hack to really level up, his kind of philosophy in entrepreneurship, on systems, on leveraging people. Learned a ton. I just want to thank you, Joel. Thank you for stopping by. Hey, for our audience, if they want to learn more about you, where should they go?
Right now, they can follow me on Instagram. I'm rebooting, I've been rebooting my website and social media, so that's still in process. But they can find me under Joel Rubiera _invest, and that's where I'll be.
Cool.
You can also shoot me a message there. You can also shoot me an email if you have any properties or anything you want to talk about. deals and monies. We're always looking for those, right? But yeah, no, for real, any questions, you can just find me on Instagram, or my email is joelrubiera@gmail.com, and I'll see you there.
Yeah, and if you're a sober home operator, give Joe a call. Thanks for stopping by. Catch you at the next one.
Peace.